In one of my recent videos, I shared a couple of different journaling prompts with you on how to reflect on the year 2020. This is super powerful because it really helps you to reflect on the year and it helps you to decide, what do I want to take into 2021? What do I want to leave behind? And what are the learnings that I take from 2020? In today's video, I want to share a couple of different journaling prompts with you in order to really set yourself up for success in 2021. So let's get started. Hi, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Julia Arndt and I'm a peak performance coach and stress management trainer. And if you have been watching my videos for a while, you know that I'm totally into journaling. I love journaling. I think it's really, really powerful. And it is one of the ways of how you can really focus on personal development. Because when you are starting to journal, when you're really starting to sit down and take time to reflect on what you want in your life, that has a lot of power to it. So in today's video, let me share a couple of different journaling prompts with you that I want you to journal about in order to set yourself up for success in 2021. And by the way, those are journaling prompts that I have been answering for myself over the last 3 years as well. I am sitting down honestly every day to journal for at least 20 to 30 minutes. Sometimes it's even longer. And then obviously for the end of the year, for the beginning of the new year, and then also for every single month of the year, I am doing additional journaling exercises as well, because I think this is the most powerful way to make sure that you are on track with the things that you set out to do. And I just recorded a video for you as well on how to make sure that your New Year's resolutions last. So make sure that you're watching this video as well to make sure that you know the common mistakes of what people do that don't really stick to their New Year's resolutions and how you can really set yourself up for success. So let's talk about the first journaling prompt that I want you to think about in this video today. And you can, if you want, use this video in order to do the journaling exercise. So maybe you have pen and paper ready and you can pause the video in order to answer the questions in real time. The first question I have for you is, what do you want your word to be in 2021? This might be a kind of interesting question if you have never thought about this, but I think it's really powerful because you were basically choosing a theme of what you want your new life to be, your new year to be. And oftentimes this is very intuitive. Oftentimes there's just a word that is coming up. Or if you find this a little bit more difficult, you can also just scribble and scrabble on your piece of paper. You can write different words on your piece of paper that you find really inspiring, really motivating, that bring up certain emotions. Because here's the next question that I want you to answer in relation to the question what your word for 2021 is going to be, which is, how does this word make you feel and how can you incorporate this word more into your routine on a daily basis in 2021? Let me give you an example. So as I've been doing this exercise for the last 3 years in a row, I've had 3 different words over the last 3 years. Makes totally sense, right? In 2019, the word of the year for me was success, because I started my own business and it was really important for me to be successful. So my word of the year for 2019 was success. It made me feel really inspired and motivated to do that and to bring success into my life and into my small business. And how did I do this on a regular basis? Well, I created a schedule to be consistent with the content that I put out. That was really important for me. And if you're interested to learn more about my entrepreneurial journey, I do have a little playlist on my YouTube channel as well about the first few months of my entrepreneur journey. So if you want to watch them, make sure you check them out. But heads up, those were my early days when I started to record videos, so you might have a good laugh when you're watching these videos. Anyway, 2019, success. 2020, perseverance and persistence. That was my word in 2020. Why? Because it was my second year in the business and I wanted to make sure I'm persistent and I'm perseverant. And little did I know what 2020 brought with it. So it was actually a really good word to have. 2021, my word of this year is creativity. I want to be more creative. I think this is a really beautiful word and it really inspires me and motivates me to bring more creative things into my life, into my business, into my routines, how I'm doing things. You see what I'm saying? This is why choosing these words can be really, really powerful. And that's what I want you to think about in the first journaling prompt. The second journaling prompt that I have for you today is: what kind of relationships would you like to nurture in 2021? If you have been watching the other video reflecting on 2020, you know I asked you a very similar question. I asked you about what kind of relationships became really important for you. And I think that relationships have to be nurtured. So I really want you to think about what kind of relationships do you want to nurture in 2021? And for each person that you're going to write down, I also want you to think about what are you going to do with these people? What are things that you want to do with them together, or how would you like to foster that relationship? Let me give you another example of my personal life. One of the relationships that's super, super important for me is the relationship with my grandma that is in Germany. I'm obviously in the US. She's in Germany, and I love her. She's 87 years old and we have a really close connection, but I obviously don't see her very often. So for me, in order to nurture this relationship, it is really important to call her on a regular basis, to send her little letters or little postcards so she knows that I'm thinking of her, and even maybe sometimes to send her a little gifts. So those are the ways that I am nurturing that relationship with my grandma. So again, I want you to think about what kind of relationships are you going to nurture in 2021 and how are you going to nurture them. So write down the names, and then underneath I would encourage you to write at least 3 to 5 ideas of what you can do with these people in order to make sure that you're really, really close with them. The next journaling prompt that I have for you is also really powerful, because in this next journaling prompt, I would like you to think about what is one area in your life that you want to develop in the most in 2021. This is a really broad question, right? But you might already have an answer, because maybe there is something in your life that you have been feeling really challenged by over the last 12 months or just over an even longer period of time. Or there's something that you feel really inspired by, something that you really, really want to bring into your life. Maybe your life has been super stressful and challenging over the last couple of years. So one area in your life that you would like to develop is actually personal development. Maybe you want to pay more attention to yourself and you want to invest more in yourself. That could be one area, right? Personal development. And then again, I also want you to think about how are you going to get developed in that area? What are you going to do in order to help you really develop in that area? Which could be, for example, that you want to invest more in your personal development. And in order to do that in 2021, you're going to get a beautiful journal, because journaling is really, really powerful. You're going to watch regular YouTube videos or read books or get a coach or do a specific course that you find super interesting. There are so many different ways on how to invest in your personal development. And that's just really one example of one area in your life that you would maybe really want to focus on in 2021. Okay, and then the last question, this is actually my favorite question. I kept it the best one for last, is the journaling question. Imagine yourself sitting in a cafe in December 2021 and reflecting back on the year. Where do you want to be? I want you to answer this question for 4 different categories, because it is really, really powerful to already bring in the feelings of how you want to feel at the end of the year. And the 4 categories that I want you to think about and that I want you to answer the question, where do you want to be, are: number 1, where do you want to be in your work? Number 2, where do you want to be in your heart? Number 3, where do you want to be in your soul? And number 4, where do you want to be in your physical world? I'm going to write down all of these different journaling questions in the notes as well, so you can find them there and you can write them down and you have some time to really think about what you want to achieve in these different categories. And you can even, if you want, write yourself a letter for your future self when you are sitting in this cafe in December 2021 and think about, where do you want to be? What do you want to have achieved? Who do you want to be with? How do you want to feel? Those are all really powerful questions. And when we're talking about manifesting things in your life, it is really important to connect the feelings with the thoughts that you have. So dream big. Don't have any limitations. This is a really wonderful exercise to do, and I hope that you enjoy it as much as I do when I am going through these exercises. And by the way, it is absolutely normal that you might need some time to think about where do I really want to be in these different areas of my life. Because sometimes it's not so easy to answer, which is why you're doing this exercise. This is why you are spending some time reflecting on it. Because when you are more clear on where you want to be, can you really start to work on these different things? So I hope that you found this video helpful. Please give me a thumbs up or leave me a comment down below. If you enjoyed this video, I'm always really excited to hear from you, and I really do hope to see you in one of my next videos. Until then, take care and see you soon.